What it is about young men today that I'm noticing, a great deal of young men do not know how to engage with other men. And this goes across the board. I see it with white boys, I see it with black kids, I see it with Spanish kids, I see it with you name it, I see it with them all. It's as if though these young men are afraid of their own shadows, to the point where when they're engaging with someone they do not know, there is an extreme lack of confidence and a hell of a lot of trepidation, even in just standing in their masculinity. Now, I don't know if this is a result of a lack of exposure to other people, but the way I interpret it is that this is how you guys become victimized by other men. Number one, you become victimized by other men because when you walk in with an uncertainty and holding on to a sketchy energy. Because me, an individual like myself, I'm a very big guy. I'm at least 6'4". I'm 6'4", about almost 300 pounds. And if your first impression of me is that you're intimidated by me because of my size, I think something's wrong with you. And it's gonna be hard for me to respect you because you're not walking with your sense of self, your sense of worthiness as a man, your sense of worthiness as an individual. So what you would choose to do is refuse to make eye contact. You refuse to open your mouth and project your words when you speak. But yet, I can see that you're afraid of me, or you're just afraid in general. And I don't know who've told you what they've told you about interacting with men. But men should not be afraid of men. Men should walk with a bit of respect towards each man. But I'm not inviting you into my home. Your life does not depend on my life. So what is it that makes you want to act in the way you do, where you're afraid to communicate with other men? You're afraid to be cordial with other men. You're afraid to see yourself as an equal to other men. I'm equal to the rich man, the poor man. I'm equal to all men, regardless of what's in my bank account. And I refuse to walk in any room and feel less than a man, to feel less than anything. Maybe my clothes aren't the desired clothes by the in-groups, but I don't care. And that's another aspect of being a man, is that I establish my standards. I'm not going to accept another man's standard. But like I said, and all in all, what I'm trying to get at is there's rules of engagement. Walk with respect. Give a little respect. Hold your head up. Be ready for whatever comes. But do not walk around here timid and afraid of other men. Men are not afraid of men. Respect men, because we understand that disrespect can bring violence. And for men who walk about only knowing one way of communicating and only want to present violence, we know that that's all insecurities, and you're lashing out because you don't want to seem weak and afraid. But the reality of it is that we know you're weak and afraid. So this is why you're behaving in the manner in which you are. We men have to grow up. You have to start seeing yourself as a man, a leader, a warrior, a fighter, because these are the things that are innate in you. Don't allow anybody to make you domestic. You don't need to be domesticated. Be a wolf. Understand who you are and be untamed. Because when you act and you move in that manner, men understand that, they see it and they respect it and they give it back, because you're the type of man that men want to be around. You're the type of man that when men sees, like, I like that brother. I like how that brother moves. I like how that brother thinks. But if you're out here constantly afraid of your own shadow, but you have thoughts, it makes you dangerous, because you're pretending to be something that you're not. You're pretending to be something that you're not. And that comes across as very dangerous to men who understand how men are supposed to behave. And I see far too many of you men, especially you young men, you're either out of shape, overweight, unhealthy lifestyles, drugs, alcohol, smoking, and you make excuses as to why you can't work out. Not only do you make excuses as to why you can't work out, you're a slave to the fork, or you're a slave to trying to be liked by women and other men. You have to get over those things. The thing that I've learned is that you build yourself up to make yourself the very best version of masculinity that you can present. And you stand on that, you stand in that. Because by you standing in that, you're setting the standard for anyone that comes into your life. Anyone that you walk on the same path with. Because you're letting them know, this is who I am. These are the things I stand for. These are the things I will not compromise on. But because many of you have become so domesticated, you do not know how to act around other men. And the fact that you don't know how to act around other men, it comes off as extremely feminized. It comes off as extremely feminized, and it's not a good look. So men, you have to get yourself together. Get your mind together, man. Get your bodies together. Anyway, if you like this content, please consider subscribing to the channel. And until then, stay gorilla-minded. Peace.